Let's begin. Today's September 15th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's puzzle uses the following 6 criteria cards. Criteria card 3, 9, 16, 18, 19, and 22. And the puzzle uses the orange verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So in our grid above, we've got our 6 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. On the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, criteria card E, and finally criteria card F. So criteria card A looks at our middle digit, the square digit, and compares it to the number 3. So should the value of square be less than 3? Should it be equal to 3? Or should it be greater than 3? Criteria card B looks at the 3-digit solution and will let us know how many of those digits are 3. Are there no 3s? Is there a single 3? Perhaps 2? Maybe even all 3 are 3. Criteria card C again looks at our 3-digit solution, but this time will let us know a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. Should there be more even than odds, or should there be less even than odds? Criteria card D will look at our 3-digit solution, triangle, square, and circle, and will add the digits up and will let us know whether the sum total is an even quantity or an odd quantity. Criteria card E will look at the first 2 digits, triangle and square, add them up, and compare the sum to the number 6. So should the sum be less than 6? Should it be equal to 6? Or should the sum be greater than 6? And finally, criteria card F again looks at our 3-digit solution, but this time will let us know a little bit about the ordering of the digits from triangle to square to circle. Should the digits appear in an ascending order, meaning that they're increasing, as in the example 135? Should they be in a descending order, basically decreasing, as in the example 421, or should they have no order? So if you look at the example 231, notice that it goes from 2 to 3, so it increases, but then it goes from 3 to 1 and decreases. So it's that shift that defines one way to define that a 3-digit code has no order. We've also seen puzzles where you have consecutive equal digits also exhibit no order, because when you have consecutive equal digits, there's no change between those two. So that's another way that you can define a code to have no order. And remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that unique 3-digit code that abides by the 6 criteria cards we just described. And we're going to start off with an initial proposal of 314. So I think the first thing I want to test is I want to know a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. So let's go ahead and test criteria card C. Okay, so the Turing Machine does approve of my proposal. Notice that I do have 2 odds to a single even. So the fact that the Turing Machine approves of that is letting us know that, yeah, there are less even than odds. So let's go ahead and type that up in section C. And that again is that there are less even than odds. So a couple of scenarios are that you have at a minimum 2 odds and a single even, or you have an all odd solution. So let's go ahead and test criteria card D. Okay, so notice that in criteria card D, they are adding up all the 3 digits. So let's go ahead and do that. So in my proposal, I have 3 plus 1, that's 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 is an even quantity, but the Turing Machine does not approve of that. So it's basically letting us know that the sum of the 3 digits should in fact be odd. So let's go ahead and type that up in section D. And that is, again, that triangle plus square plus circle should be equal to an odd quantity. And so let's discuss that for a second. Well, from criteria card C, we know that we have a majority of odds. So again, let's assume we have just 2 odds. When you add 2 odds together, that sum so far is even. But if you want the overall sum to remain odd, you actually have to add a 3rd odd. So that means that we're looking at an all odd solution. So that means that I can actually cross out all of the evens for triangle, square, and circle. So no evens at all. And so let's see, what else can we test? It is interesting that we do have this card, criteria card B, that lets us know how many odds there might be. So let's see. Can we have, I think we can't have 3 odds, because if you have 3 consecutive digits, as I discussed at the beginning, at the top of the video, that means that there would be no order, because there's no change between the same digit. So that would make this card irrelevant, because you know you have no order. And I believe if you have 2 of the same, as I also discussed, well, let's talk about it. So if you have 2 consecutive 3s, so like say 3, 3, 4, so that would also have no order. Whether it starts off with 2, the first 2, triangle and square, would be 3, that would have no order. And what if it was, say, 3, 2, 3? Well, that also exhibits no order, because then it would decrease 3 to 2 and then increase. That's no order. And whether the middle digit is smaller or larger doesn't matter, because 3, 4, 3, right, it increases and then decreases. That has no order. And of course, if the last 2 are the, say, 3, that again, towards the end, there would be no change. So there can't be either 3 or 2. So it's either there is a 3 or there isn't. And that's sort of interesting. I'm not sure what would that mean, if there's just 1 or no. I guess if there were no 3s, then I guess you could have 2 of the same, either 1s or 5s, and the other would be, the other digit. That would be interesting. If there is a single 3, I guess that still means you could have 2 of the others, 1 or 5, or 1 of each. That is very interesting. What else? Let's see. Well, out of the 4 remaining cards, I don't know. Could it be that the sum of the first 2 digits is 6, or maybe 1, 5, or 5, 1? Unfortunately, I don't have a proposal that sort of meets that. Perhaps maybe testing criteria card A to see if we have, at least we'd be eliminating one of those possibilities. And that would inform us about criteria card E in the second round. Yeah, so let's go ahead and test criteria card A. Okay, so notice that I did choose a 1 for my squared digit. So that means that no, it's not less than 3. So square should either equal to 3 or be greater than 3. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes. And that's for criteria card A. So we'll type it up in section A. And that's that square is either equal to or greater than 3. So that means that square cannot be a 1. So we're down to either 3 or 5 for square. Okay, well that does it for this round. We did complete our 3 Turing tests. Now we're going into the phase where we'll be discussing how to construct a good second round proposal. So A, at least eliminated one of the choices, but we're still at possibly having square be either equal to 3 or a 5, since we know they're all odd. We didn't test how many 3s there are, and we also don't know the sum of the first 2 digits or the ordering. So let's take a look. What if triangle were, sorry, not triangle, but square. What if square were 3? Well, let's see. Yeah, we don't know anything about the sum of the first 2, so yeah, it's pretty much less than, well, this is interesting. So this is less than, that's equal to 6, and then that's greater than 6. If it were 3, that is. Obviously, if square were 5, that's 6. And 3 or 5 would give us something greater than 6. So what would that mean if it were greater? I guess it depends on how many 3s there are, and whether square is one of them. Now notice that, besides criteria card D, there's no mention of circle. It could be that the ordering sort of is going to force circle to be either 1, 3, or 5. So under what circumstance would that happen? I wonder if there could be a single 3 and the sum be greater. So that could it be something like 553? Is that possible? Or are we dealing with all sort of unique? It could be that maybe the sum is less than 6, and that would force 1, 3. Well, yeah, let's talk about that. So if it's 1, 3, well, if it's 1, 3, 1 or 1, 3, 3, that's no order. And 1, 3, 5 is the only sort of descending. But at this point, if we knew it was descending after, knowing it's an all odd, then that would be obvious. It'd be 1, 3, 5. And I don't think this card would be relevant. And also, what about, ascending, 1, 3, 5. Descending is similar, right? If we knew it was descending, we would know it's 5, 3, 1. And again, the number of 3s would be irrelevant. So I don't think it's going to be ascending or descending. Let's see, what else? So if it's no order, could we be dealing with 2 similar digits? How are all these cards sort of interacting with each other? I'd almost think maybe the sum is going to be greater than 6, and somehow, but again, what would circle be forced to be? Let's see, what would happen if there were no 3's? So if there were no 3's, and say the sum were greater, then it would force triangle and square to be both 5's. But then how would you choose between 1 and 5 for circle? I don't see that from happening. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be no 3's. Let's see, what about if the sum were 6? Then it would force 1 and 5. It would force triangle to be 1 and square to be 5. And I guess maybe that's it. Maybe the sum is 6, but only with 1 3. And that would be circle. 1 5. Yeah, I would force circle to be 3. If there's only 1 3 and the sum is 6. 1 5 3. Or perhaps maybe there are no 3's and the sum is 6. But yeah, again, how would you choose between 1 and 5? Because those would both exhibit no order. So 1 5 and a single 3. 1 5. Yeah, I guess they would all exhibit no order, 1 5 and circle 1 3 or 5. But which one do you pick? The one that has a 3. Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and do 1 5 3. See where that takes us. Okay, so again, the whole premise of the proposal was that the sum would be 6. So let's go ahead and test criteria card E. And no, the sum is not equal to 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and type that up. And that again was for section E. And that is that triangle plus square is either less than or greater than 6. Okay, so the sum is not 6, but can we actually eliminate anything? I don't think so, because there's still a lot of possibilities. 1 and 3 will add to something less than 6. 3 and 5 is greater, and 5 and 3 are greater. So I don't think we can actually cross out anything. We just need to avoid those scenarios. So can we, I don't know if we necessarily need to list out anything just yet. But let's go ahead. And remember, we did sort of already discuss how criteria card B, either there is a 3 or there isn't. So let's go ahead and test criteria card B. Okay, so it is true that there is a single 3. So let's go ahead and type that up, and we'll say that the solution has a single 3-digit. Now, of course, we don't know where it goes, but there is just 1 3, so the question is then, are there 2 of the other or 1 of each? Let's see. And of course we could still test criteria card A, to see if that is the 3-digit or not. I think that would probably be the only. I mean, we could test criteria card F, but I'm hoping to deduce it. Yeah, I think we've sort of deduced that it has no order, but yeah, I don't know. Would we have to go to a third round and test maybe E again? If it happens to be that square is 5, well, is it 3, 5? Well, actually, I don't think square can be 3. Yeah, I don't think square can be 3. Because if it were 3, we know 1 wouldn't work. Well, so let's talk about that. If square were 3, we know it wouldn't be 1, 5, because that does equal 6. So the question is the 3 triangle or circle? So if that were the case, it'd be 3, 5. Yeah, so let's see. If square were not 3, it wouldn't be 1. That means the sum is greater than. And so you'd have 3, 5 or 5, 5. And then that means that circle couldn't be 3. So yeah, how would you choose between 3, 5, 5 and 3, 5, 1? Those both exhibit no order. 3, 5, 5 and 3, 5, 1. Yeah, they both have no order, and so would 5, 5. So if well, let's see. The other case would be, it'd be 5, 5, 3, because you do need a single. So yeah, 3, 5, 5, 3, 5, 1 wouldn't work. 5, 5, 3 would work if square were not 3. Yeah, I don't know if right now we need to start listing them. But that's assuming we only have 1, 3. If square were, okay, what if a square were 3? And we would know if the sum is less than or greater than, because it could be 1, 3 or it could be 5, 3. Whew. So if it is a 3, it'd be 1, 5. 1, 3, 1? 1, 3, 1. Oh my goodness, I think there's still too many possibilities. Yeah, let's go ahead and test criteria card A. Maybe I should list them out, but I'm just going to test A. It just seems to be the easiest. Okay, so it is not the case that square is greater than 3 since I have a 5. So it doesn't not like that. So yeah, so that means that square is 3 and it's the only 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and update our note in section A that it does not like the greater than. So in fact it should be a 3. Okay, so that means that square cannot be a 5. It must be that 3. And that means that neither triangle, since we only have 1 5, neither triangle nor circle can be the 3s. Okay. And so now it does come down to, is the sum less than or greater than 6? And let's see, can we somehow deduce it? Well, we haven't tested criteria card F. Could it be that we have a descending, ascending? If we test the sum, yeah, it almost feels like we do have to test it twice. But, okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah. Let's see, if it's less than, it'd be 1, 5. And if it's no order, it'd be 1. If it's greater than, it's 5, 3, 5. Well, let's go ahead and test 1, 3, 1. And again, we are going to test the criteria card E again to establish what the sum is of the first 2 digits. So E. Okay, so it is not the case that the sum is less than. So it's not less than, it must be greater than. Okay, so that means triangle cannot be a 1. So there's our greater than, 5, 3. And it comes down to being either descending or no order. Honestly, I'm kind of torn. I am leaning towards no order, but I don't know, maybe it could be descending. So we do have a no order here. So let's go ahead and test F. Okay, it is true that it has no order. So let's go ahead and type up that in section F, that the solution has no order. Okay, and so yeah, so that would mean that circle can't be 1. So that means that the solution seems to be 5, 3, 5. Okay. Well, let's quickly see. What didn't we confirm and what did we? So it looks like, yeah, at the end we did confirm. We tested A twice. It didn't like 1 or 5. So yes, the middle digit has to be 3. It is. We did test B, and it was confirmed that there's a single digit in our solution, and there is. We did C. We confirmed that yes, there should be more odds than evens. There are, and the sum is odd. That's correct. E. We tested twice, and it both failed, so we were able to then conclude that yeah, the sum isn't equal to 6 or even less than 6, so it must be greater than 6, and it is. And we did confirm that it should have no order, and it does. It decreases and it increases. So it does seem to fulfill all of the 6 criteria cards, but let's go ahead and confirm that 535 is the solution. So 5, 3, 5. Okay, yes, fantastic. Now let's actually see, did we beat the Turing machine? Well, we tested, out of the 6 criteria cards, we did 8 tests, and we duplicated both A and E. So we'll see how we did. 8, I've seen the Turing machine take 8 turns. We have in this puzzle, and we'll see how we did. So we did A, C, D in the first round, and the middle was correct. Then we did A, B, E, and again, the middle was correct. And then we did EF as our last two tests. So let's see, ACD and ABE. So let's do that, ACD, ABE. So we did ACD, and then we did ABE, and the middle ones were correct. And I already forgot how we did. I know we did EF, and the last one was correct. So E was incorrect and F was correct. How do we do? Okay, yeah, we tied it. I was sort of suspecting that, since I do recall some puzzles where the Turing Machine goes to 8. Well, I'm sure I missed out on some efficiencies. I'm not sure, but it was a little bit challenging, almost feeling unsure as we got closer to the end, unsure that it might be 535. I just didn't want to be fooled, but still, it was a challenging puzzle, which are great. It really does test us. But what do you think? Add your thoughts to the comments. If you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up so that more people can find the channel, and of course, subscribe to not miss out on any future videos. Well, until next time, have a great one.